after 1977, of course, he alone and Mataji also, they continued their project, and they have made those films which are like they kind of saw him, how he took his camera and how he was filming. Pune Yatra also, of course, is very intense. Katha, Kirtan, boisterous Kirtans. So he told me that I see in Jadubar Prabhu, like many times, a cinematographer or a photographer or somebody would like to say, hey, move around, or you're coming in the way, you're blocking Maharaj, or you're blocking Kirtan. 2-3 times he saw him looking at a particular angle and not getting the proper angle or people coming in the way. He moved aside. He didn't disturb the ambience, or he didn't disturb the flow of events. I remember it from all these years, but now it seems that this is the ambience. And we have decided that we will be showing you that. Before that, I would like to request Yadubar Prabhu to kindly come on the stage. His Grace Yadubar Prabhu ki.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishashunivadi Paskatade Satane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Shamananda Prabhu and His Holiness Radhanath Swami for greeting me so wonderfully. I really don't deserve this, such recognition. As Shamananda Prabhu said, I amazement I had for this yatra. For so many years I've observed it. I've observed how it's run, how it functions, and the incredible devotion of all of you. And it just really shows in every aspect of here in Puri. So many details have to be covered. It seems like things are just flowing so wonderfully well. Do you agree? So tonight we'll be showing a photo essay actually of our coming to Krishna consciousness. Some of you may have seen this. We've been showing it around for maybe a year now. And it's a pictorial essay. Many of the photos you'll see tonight are taken from little movie frames. Many of you haven't even seen film. I've asked, how many have not seen a roll of film? Actually, many. But not restored, but still they're pretty good. This actually, many of our film frames have been shown and reproduced in books and publications. The Leelamrita has quite a few of them. So it's a great resource for future publications. So thank you again for coming to the Puri Yatra. Yatras are not always easy. But if we just push through the difficulties and see it as Krishna's arrangement, actually the final words of Srila Prabhupada in both our biography films on Prabhupada, he's lying on his bed and he says, everything is acting, moving by the supreme desire of Krishna. This consciousness is Krishna consciousness. So everything, the good, the bad, everything is Krishna's arrangement. And if we see it like that, there's no more lamentation. So we'll start the show shortly. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what we'll be doing is, these 3 screens will be showing this show. Perhaps those who are beyond the screen, you can quickly go behind. You can appreciate it. There is also another alternative. Media team, is this available on YouTube? Yes. So in case you want to sit here and you have streaming on your mobile phone, please, what is the link? The usual link, usual Yatra class link, and you can see the same show on your mobile screens. Hare Krishna. This is a 1 hour show, so this will continue for 1 hour.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. So our journey begins at the New York Temple in Henry Street, in Brooklyn, New York. I was given an assignment to cover the Hare Krishna movie by Asia Magazine. And that was my first professional assignment and my last. So Vishaka Devi, she was my girlfriend, Jean, at the time. She wrote the article and I did the pictures. And this came out in the 1970, I believe, November edition of Asia Magazine. We discovered later that magazine had a circulation of 630,000 magazines and distributed in 9 countries in Southeast Asia. So I decided, I was very attracted, my first introduction to Krishna consciousness. And Vishaka Devi had the opposite reaction. She was an atheist. So she's written a book called 5 Years, 11 Months, and a Lifetime of Unexpected, which traces her change of consciousness from atheism to theism. And I recommend that book highly. She actually wrote it for the atheists of the world. So it came time for me to do my master's thesis in photography. And I decided to go to India to cover Prabhupada's World Sankirtan Party. And this was in Mumbai before I arrived. I actually met Prabhupada in Surat. But when devotees first arrived, I believe it was September 1970, it created a sensation, an absolute sensation in India. People were amazed, they were skeptical, they didn't know what to make of it, they were proud, there were every kind of reaction. And when they actually found out that these are bona fide Vaishnavas, they were just so proud, they were thrilled. So actually Prabhupada immediately took India by storm. Again, these are little photos from little film frames. This is one of my favorite. It portrays actually the prediction of Bhaktivinoda Thakur that people from all different races and religions would come together under the banner of Harinam. Harinam Sankirtan ki. And of course, Prabhupada was always there when he actually jumped down off the stage at this program and started dancing. Everyone went wild. So Prabhupada's Sankirtan party traveled all over India by train. And even if they stopped for 10 minutes at a stop on the way, they would jump off the train and have kirtan. And, that way, the whole of India very quickly, and, as if anything unusual happens in India, hundreds of people immediately gather. So, very, very quickly all over India, everyone knew about the devotees. And this is Surat. You've probably seen films of this amazing reception that we had in Surat. This is where I met Prabhupada. Here's an example of changing bodies. A crow amongst swans. And it was a photographer's dream, coming from New York City and seeing how the devotees were received and not received. Yes, it was just an amazing time. This was the second night. They cleared the streets and had a huge, huge program. Everyone in the town came out. I think the mayor of Surat said even if Indira Gandhi came, she would not have received the reception that Prabhupada received, and she was the prime minister. And every morning they would print the route of the Sankirtani party through the streets, different parts of the city every day. And the people would decorate that particular route. You can see how eager they were in anticipation for the arrival. These are some of my black and white pictures for the master's thesis in photography. We were shooting black and white pictures. This is Bonu Das Brahmachari. We could not go more than a few meters before being stopped and offered drinks and food and garlands and sandalwood paste. This is Malachi Devi. And every morning Prabhupada would take his walk by the river. I visited this place a few years ago and it's completely built up on both sides of the river. And that's Durlabh Prabhu leading the Boy Scouts in Kirtan. You see that little camera on his wrist? That's a Super 8 movie camera. So we were very thankful to Durlabh Prabhu for providing many films at that time. Prabhupada was very animated during this lecture. I shot many, many pictures. It's Nanda Kumar Prabhu, Prabhupada's servant. This is Mangal Arati in Srila Prabhupada's room. I shot only one picture. It was very, very dark. But it was probably the most intense, devotional-filled Mangal Arati I've ever been to. It was a very small room, 25 devotees. That's Yamuna Devi leading. Prabhupada would often ask her to lead the kirtan. And Prabhupada was tireless. Every day, 3 or 4 engagements, preaching all the time. Prabhupada in his very regal pose. That's Devananda Prabhu in Prabhupada's lower left, and Koshalya Devi, another lady he has to lead quite a bit. And then the man in the Gandhi cap, just next to the person paying obeisances, pranams, he was our host, Mr. Jariwala. Mr. Jariwala was a banker. And he very kindly in his 3-story house put up all the devotees, myself and Prabhupada. And when we were leaving, he paid obeisances to all of us and begged forgiveness for any offenses. He didn't commit any offenses. We committed the offenses. We were very, very young, all of us, teenagers, early 20s. I was one of the oldest in India at age 27. Anyway, he begged our forgiveness, and then he started to cry. And Prabhupada looked at us, he said, "This is a Vaishnava." And then Prabhupada took us to the Kumbh Mela, 1971, late January. Very, very cold. This is Madhavisa Prabhu on the left with the drum. Prabhupada named him the King of Kirtan. Tamal Krishna just next to him. His wife at the time, Madhuri Devi, in back of him. Aravinda Prabhu with a blanket. Achyutananda with a turban. Then Giriraj Das Brahmachari with a blanket over his head. Can you recognize some of these? Yamuna Devi and then Hansaduta Prabhu. This man would seek out Prabhupada every day, and when he found him, he would start jumping up and down. Prabhupada liked him very much. You can see little Saraswati up in the upper left on Shamsundar Prabhu's shoulders. And she was a big preacher. Prabhupada called her, a very, very effective, potent preacher. Every time there was kirtan, she would raise her arms up and dance on stage. So Prabhupada could have lived anywhere in Allahabad, in a hotel at the Gaudiya Math where he served for many years. But he chose to stay with us, and again, very, very cold conditions. And one day Prabhupada took us to the Sri Rupa Gaudiya Math where he served for many years as a grihasta. These are the deities in Sri Rupa Gaudiya Math. See Muna Devi again. And then to Benares, this is a celebration, festival of the time that Lord Chaitanya met Srila Rupa Goswami and instructed him. Again, anywhere Prabhupada went, he was received very royally. Sometimes we think that Prabhupada wasn't very successful before coming to America, but actually he was very successful in preaching to the upper class of society. So much so that when we returned, they would invite us to their homes, they would help us to arrange programs, very influential in helping us start the movement in India. That's Jayapataka Swami on the lower left. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. And here we are in Cross Maidan. All over India, Prabhupada arranged for these huge, huge Pandal programs. And this is one of the biggest. And this is where quite a few devotees met Srila Prabhupada. In fact, His Holiness Radhanath Swami was way, way in the back of the crowd. And Prabhupada picked him out and asked him to come on stage. And we know the history. Srila Radhanath Swami ki. So Prabhupada sometimes exercised his mystical ability. I think this is one instance. And again, people are just thrilled to see the Western Vaishnavas after hundreds of years of subjugation and foreign rule. Here come Vaishnavas on their shores. It was just a wonderful, wonderful time. And Srila Prabhupada spoke every night. There's one, actually, His Holiness Lokanath Swami also first met the devotees here. And there was one Canadian devotee who was in the audience, and he heard Prabhupada speak. He had never been to a Hare Krishna festival, and he couldn't understand Prabhupada. But one word came through very clearly, and that is surrender. And eventually he did. His name is Dadiharta Prabhu. And this is Vegavan Prabhu and his wife getting married on stage, the last day of the Pandal, in front of 20,000 people. It was a huge event. Prabhupada, in his speech, he said, "This is the real United Nations." And when he said that, everybody cheered. 20,000 people cheered. Hari Hari Bo! Subal Swami did the fire sacrifice. And you can see on the upper left-hand corner, little hard to see, there's that Western sadhu who was picked out of the audience. Everybody see? Yeah, proof. I don't think there's any other photos. So again, the value of these little tiny photo frames are very valuable. So Jean, my girlfriend, was back in New York, wondering what happened to me. But I invited her to come to India, and she brought her book. photomicrography, art and techniques, and showed it to Prabhupada when we first met. And Prabhupada very carefully examined the book. He liked good quality books. That was his business. And he went through page by page. And so at that time, we wandered around Mumbai. I was finished with my assignment, photographing the devotees. And we wandered around Mumbai taking our art photographs. This fellow was in front of Cross Maidan, and nobody paid attention to him. Everybody was inside. So we asked Prabhupada, we'd like to do a story on a quaint Indian village, untouched by Western technology, take photographs. We didn't know where to go, so we asked Prabhupada, where should we go? Which village? And Prabhupada said, wherever you go, you'll get your cameras stolen and they will cheat you. Not very encouraging. But then he said, best to go to Vrindavan. So before we went to Vrindavan, we went to Nepal and hiked up. So we did go to Calcutta to help produce the Vyasa Puja book for Srila Prabhupada, 1971 Vyasa Puja book. By that time I had a mustache, cut my hair. I was very slow. And this is the Calcutta temple. Dinanath Prabhu doing the arti. At that time I took Diksha. Jean was not ready, but actually Jananivas Prabhu was in that same group of initiates. And then Prabhupada took us to Delhi. Actually, let's see here, hold on. Sorry. Prabhupada took us to Delhi, and he was greeted again by very well-known dignitaries. The mayor of Delhi is on the left. And these are the beautiful deities that were installed. Radha Gokulananda, who are now in the Bhaktivedanta manor. By the way, Jean is now, Vishaka. Thinking of Malati Devi. We're going through the ceremony, and no one had cameras in that time. So Malati came up to Vishaka and asked her for a camera. So she took this one picture. We all know the struggle that Prabhupada went through in Juhu. This is the groundbreaking ceremony. And while we were in Juhu, actually Vishaka and I served there for 2.5 years in the early days. We got a letter from Karanda Prabhu, the head of the BBT, and he wanted us to make a film on ISKCON. So this was our first film, The Hare Krishna People. And Prabhupada actually wanted this film. He got this film was approved by him, and he gave actually $16,000 from his book fund to fund the movie. Prabhupada started the movement. And at that time, hundreds of thousands of books were being printed. Hundreds of thousands of books being printed, stored, distributed all over the world. Devotees had their own equipment, forklifts and trucks, and they had everything. We tried to show all aspects of ISKCON in this movie. Prabhupada being greeted by the chief minister of UP at the Delhi Pandal. And in this scene, we show slow motion cows in New Vrindavan running down the hill. When Prabhupada saw this scene, he said, "The cows are floating. Can you fix it?" And we said, excuse me, I don't think Prabhupada had ever seen slow motion. So we explained that that's a special effect, Prabhupada. And then he said, "Then it is all right." This is the last scene at Bhaktivedanta Manor, Prabhupada dancing with all the devotees in ecstasy. So my father actually was very generous. He bought us a new editing table and a new camera, 16 millimeter camera. The camera weighed 16 pounds with film in it. I wish I had an iPhone 14. Technology has changed hugely. So Prabhupada actually commissioned this next film called Brilliant as the Sun. Prabhupada asked for something to show his godbrothers in Mayapur that he was doing the work of his spiritual master in printing and distributing books all over the world. So we decided to make a film following one verse of the Bhagavatam all the way through book production, printing, and eventually distribution. So Prabhupada spoke the verse, and Dravida Prabhu is typing it up. And this is the verse. This Bhagavat Purana is as brilliant as the sun. And it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. And everything was produced at the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, Graphic Arts Editorial Division in Los Angeles. And as each step was completed, it was marked off on this board. And then this amazing typist, she was the fastest typist I've ever seen. She would type the text and then hand it in a cassette to Archita Prabhu. And he would put in that machine in back of him and print out the pages. By the way, Archita Prabhu is still serving at the BBT 50 years later. Archita Prabhu ki. And then the paintings would be photographed. We followed, actually that's Madhusudana Prabhu on the camera. And we followed one painting from initial conception all the way through to completion. And then that would be printed and then resized for the cover. Again, this is all very tedious work. It can be done very quickly on a computer, just like the videos can be done very quickly and easily. The devotees were very, very dedicated at the BBT, and this is final printing. That's Rameshwar Prabhu in the middle, Radha Ballabha Prabhu on the right, and Jagannath Sutta Prabhu on the left. And we have our own, again, warehouse and BBT truck. And all the books. And then we included what was very dear to Prabhupada, reviews by very famous professors at very, very well-known universities, Princeton University, Yale, Harvard. And then we have the final scene is a distribution of that same volume where that verse appears. And Gopavinda Prabhu is on the streets in LA. We have him wired with a mic so we hear him preaching to the businessman. And you can see them across the street. I was across the street on the second story of the building. Srila Prabhupada book distribution key. So we took that film to Prabhupada, and we also took a new invention called the Fairchild projector. Devotees who were around in the early days know that very well. Practically all the preachers had one. It looked like a businessman's briefcase, but you could open it up and very quickly show the movie. So we sat in Prabhupada's room. Even if one guest came in, he would ask eventually to show the movie. They were quite amazed not only by the what Prabhupada was accomplishing, but also by the technology. And Prabhupada actually approved this next film on New Vrindavan called The Spiritual Frontier. The music was done by Mangalananda Prabhu. He's another wonderful devotee, artist, really a genius, composer, lyricist, and musician. And it was, again, a beautiful time of year, summertime in New Vrindavan. We planted our camera in front of the horses and they ran over it. Then we did a reverse shot the other way. Lots of crops being harvested. And Prabhupada was very fond of the milk production in New Vrindavan. It is, I think it was, one cow gave 10 gallons a day. That's 40 liters of milk per day. We had a piece of glass over the camera to protect it. And we showed the birth of a calf. And when Prabhupada saw these puris cooking, he leaned up out his Vyasasana and he said, "I want one." And this is Prabhupada's palace being constructed. All the devotees did the work themselves. And this is Prabhupada's palace. Thousands of tourists come every year to the Prabhupada's Palace of Gold. If you get a chance, please attend. Please have darshan. So Prabhupada was very proud of this project in New Vrindavan. And he praised Kirtanananda for his service in that way. Beautiful deities of Radha Vrindavan Chandra. And we know that His Holiness Radhanath Swami spent many years in New Vrindavan as Pujari. And this is the last shot in a helicopter. I wish I had a drone. My grandson has a drone. And the last film that Prabhupada saw is called Spark of Life. It was actually commissioned by the Bhaktivedanta Institute. They wanted something to show the scientists, or show people, to defeat the scientists' argument that life comes from matter. And we decided if we base it on the basis of their current arguments, those arguments change. So the film will become outdated. So we decided to base it on the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. That never changes. It's a dialogue between two college students. That's Duryodhana Prabhu on the right. He's studying biology. And he's convinced by the atheistic theory that life comes from matter. On the left is Agastya Prabhu. He's taking a course in religion and reading the Bhagavad Gita. So he's also very enthusiastic about telling his friend about Bhagavad Gita. And this is the professor, biology professor Damodar Prabhu, mostly devotees. This is all shot on the University of California, UCLA campus. And the biology professor is giving a theory how life comes from matter, a combination of material elements, gases, liquids, and finally a one-cell creature evolves. So the biology student is very, he's hearing his friend talk about Bhagavad Gita, and he's thinking about that. He's also considering the teachings of the materialists. So in the film, we try to break down the body and all the different parts, the bones, the circulatory system, all the different parts of the body, looking for the soul. But we never find the soul materially. And we show a sequence of hands showing the aging process. Up to the point of death. And then we have a scene in my apartment, actually, directed by a devotee nurse who used to work in an operating room. These are all devotee doctors, so-called doctors. And they're trying to bring the dead body back to life with so many things, the injections and pumping the heart and electric shock treatment, but nothing you do can bring the soul back once it leaves the body. And then there's a scene in the graveyard where the priest puts earth on the casket. And then finally, the biology student is convinced that life must come from life. And there's a happy ending. So this film was not so much appreciated by the Bhaktivedanta Institute at the time. They were thinking of some other type of movie, but eventually it was distributed all over India quite widely and quite successfully. Srila Prabhupada ki. So I spoke earlier about this film restoration project we're doing now. And this is very important because it's really bringing these films to life more. Better clarity, better color balance, everything will be improved. And we have a booth, one of the booths on the side. If you'd like to support, we have some way to do that. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Actually, I wanted to say a few words more. All these films are available on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to take down the name of our YouTube channel, it's Hare Krishna Film Classics. Hare Krishna Film Classics. The following Srila Prabhupada DVD series is also on that channel. And also the new film, the latest film we produced was Hare Krishna, the mantra, the movement, and the Swami who started it all. The Life of Srila Prabhupada. That's now available in all the major Indian languages. Please contact me if you're interested in showing that. I encourage you to, in the different regions where those languages are spoken, to bring it back to the movie theater and bring Prabhupada back to the movie theater. That was a very exciting time when Prabhupada was shown in the public theaters all over the world. Actually, it was shown in 38 countries in the theaters. So we could bring the film back in the local languages, invite VIPs, and have a grand premiere. Just a suggestion. So please contact me if you want to have access to those languages. Thank you again. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Time is 6:04. Help उनका बैग वैग कुछ लेना तो ले लो। बहुत निकल
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we just saw this wonderful slideshow of, these are not photographs by the way, they are from film rolls as Jadubar Prabhu explained. In the afternoon we had a discussion as to how do we celebrate Jadubar Prabhu's 80th birthday, and Maharaj suggested that Mandakini Mataji, she also is a legend in her own right. As Jadubar Prabhu and his wife were pioneers in filmmaking, Mandakini Mataji is a pioneer in opening up the Russia preaching field in those years. So she has a wealth of experience and she's like a towering personality in her own right. So who could be more fit to offer a tribute to Jadubar Prabhu, his work so far, his contribution to Prabhupada's movement. So I would like to humbly request Her Grace Mandakini Mataji to kindly come on stage.
It will not have that earphone. Mic is sir, that will be very steady.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Kauravani Prachaline Nirvise Sashunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, dear Yaduvara Prabhu, I feel very honored and very happy in the name of Radhanath Swami, the whole congregation, to congratulate you on your 80th birthday today. I'm sure if Srila Prabhupada was actually physically with us, he will actually talk and give you a tribute. So, dear Yaduvara Prabhu, what we just saw on the screen was such a beautiful life of devotion. We saw and we heard how you and dear Vishaka came and how you asked Srila Prabhupada to tell you in which little Indian village you could come to make a film about an authentic village in India, and how he laughed and he told you, with your big equipment, you will be stolen immediately. And then, very mercifully, he told you to come to Vrindavan. You have quoted our dear Vishaka's wonderful book, 5 years and 11 months, in which she actually tells us about your spiritual journey. we've seen pictures in the film of how you came to India. These beautiful pictures where you captured actually moments of eternal time. Srila Prabhupada, very intense expression at different moments. And we've seen pictures of your wedding with dear Vishaka. She's telling us that before becoming, sorry, I'm talking also about Vishaka, because it says that behind any great man, there is a great woman. So Vishaka told us, and we can share, she told us about this wedding. And at one point, she heard Gurudas Prabhu giving the spiritual talk after or before, I don't know, the yagya. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, she was a very strong feminist. And then the talk went on explaining how when you get married, the husband will give you protection. So Vishaka her mind began to explode. She said, protection, exploitation. And she started to think, what am I doing here? It's again one of these movements. But Gurudas became inspired by Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. And he explained what was protection. He explained protection by the husband is when the husband becomes the champion of his wife. He will actually help her to develop all devotional qualities to offer to the Lord. That's the way protection works. And then she will be able to bloom, to offer all her talents to Krishna. And in that way, you're a very good example, dear Yadubara Prabhu, because, because our dear Vishaka is one of the most wonderful Vaishnavi we have with us. She's so bright, her intelligence is so devotional and clear. And both of you have contributed so much to the mission of Srila Prabhupada. You showed the first movie, the Hare Krishna people. I remember the year 74. Prabhupada came to London, to Bury Place, and he said something extraordinary. He said, actually, I invite all of you to come to Vrindavan. And that was a great shock for all of us, because you remember in Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada says, you cannot go to Vrindavan by purchasing a ticket. But here, the spiritual master was inviting us. So all of us, we tried to come, and some of us came. But unfortunately, the opening was postponed to the next year. So Srila Prabhupada didn't know what to do with all of us. He wanted us to be engaged. And he took a team. There was Didanath Prabhu that we saw in the movie. He was our kirtan leader. There was a wonderful devotee who passed away now, Sridhar Swami, who was giving the lecture. So on the day we used to go on Harinam, and in the evening we used to preach to the Maharaj of Rajasthan. And sometime in the day, in the palace of the same Maharaj, we were showing the Hare Krishna people. And the Bollywood industry was not so developed yet. So everybody was coming to see that movie, the Hare Krishna people. And they were so happy, so joyful, and so astonished to see how Krishna consciousness was developing in the West. So even that first movie was such a wonderful tool for preaching all over the world. And coming back to the last movie you did with Vishaka, I remember we saw it in New Delhi. It was very hard to enter. You came to rescue us. The hall was completely full. It was a lot of government official dignitaries and a lot of people. Some of us had met Srila Prabhupada, but most of the people didn't. And by seeing that movie, many people said, it's actually the second coming of Srila Prabhupada. So your contribution, dear Prabhu, is absolutely immense. And we can see how this movement for Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. Because I was discussing this afternoon with a wonderful devotee from the young generation. Maybe you heard his suffering. His name is Namamrita Prabhu. And he talked about a very beautiful moment, recent moment, a meeting with our dear Radhanath Swami. And at one point, Radhanath Swami said, I trust you. So what we can see about all the achievements in Krishna consciousness, the achievements of dear Yadubara Prabhu and Vishaka, our dear Vishaka Devi, it all comes because Srila Prabhupada showed the way, how he was trusting every one of his followers. Although even the student themselves wouldn't know about their own qualities, Srila Prabhupada was seeing these qualities, and by seeing them and trusting the person, then the devotee would manifest all his talents. So the Krishna consciousness movement that Prabhupada brought is actually based on love and trust. And it's based on helping each one of the Vaishnav to develop the unique qualities, the unique talents they have to serve Lord Krishna. So, dear Yadubara Prabhu, thank you so much on all our behalf for your immense contribution. And we pray all together that you have many more years with us, and then many more opportunities to offer wonderful films, wonderful pictures for spreading the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Dear Shyamananda Prabhu was talking about Russia. At one point, Yadubara Prabhu wanted to make a movie about Russia, about the first heroes, the veterans who started actually to spread Krishna consciousness at the threat of their health, physical health, mental health, at the threat of their freedom and their life also. And I remember, Prabhu, how enthusiastic you were, but it was not exactly politically the good time. So we hope that a better time will come when you will make that movie. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you. Haribol.
Thank you very much, Mandagini Mataji. I would now like to request His Grace Madhavananda Prabhu and His Grace Vishwarup Prabhu to kindly come forward and make a small presentation on the Barsana Eye Hospital project.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. First of all, I want to express my gratitude to the Yatra committee for allowing us to do this presentation, and particularly His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj for inspiring the project which we are going to explain. And on behalf of Bhaktivedanta Hospital, we want to also wish His Grace Yaduvara Prabhu happy birthday. Hare Krishna. So on the first day, Maharaj explained about this dham as a Shri Kshetra. So and then he connected to Sriji Mandir. Srimati Radharani's own abode in Barsana. And all of you, how many of you have read Journey Home? Practically everyone, yes. So when the young sadhu, 19-year-old boy, he is coming to India, he has promised something to the Indian army immigration person who was a Sardar, that I will do something for your country. I promise you this. Please allow me in. And then, not only he has done so many things, whether it is the Radha Gopinath temple at Chowpatty, Bhaktivedanta Hospital, Gopal's Garden, Govardhaniko village, this kind of amazing yatras. And he has given his life itself to all of us, to India. So we are very grateful to him. Part of his promise is manifested in Barsana, in Vrindavan. So in the late 1980s and 90s, Maharaj took a small group of people on yatra. Some of us who were just graduated doctors were part of it. And then his desire to do something for the Brajvasi, the Braj, came up. And he gave us the idea of doing eye care services for the Brajvasis. And that's how in 1992 we began with Barsana eye camps. And many of you might have attended, many of you have volunteered, many doctors have volunteered. And it is still going on. And later on it became a daily affair. Previously it was once in a year, now it is daily. And there are many people who have inspired this on the instructions and inspiration of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. I want to call all of them here, and then I'll continue further. So I would request His Grace Vishwarup Prabhu to come here, His Grace Sachipran Prabhu to come here, His Grace Gaurang Sundar Prabhu to come here, His Grace Shyam Mohan Prabhu to come here, His Grace Sri Gaurang Prabhu to come here, and Abhishek Agrawal Prabhu, who is creating awareness for volunteering to participate in this beautiful project of Barsana Eye Hospital. Now we already have a hospital in Vrindavan, a hospice and a hospital in Vrindavan. And Barsana Eye Hospital is another branch of our bridge activities. But it is not just that. The same trust is also doing many other activities. And one of the beautiful activities which all of you like to know is the restoration of the clean water in kundas. So His Grace Gaurang Prabhu is doing that. He has his own team and under the same trust. So it's not just hospital care, but also the preservation of our original kundas. Plus, we are also trying to help people, the locals, to develop some skills. So skill development is part of our program. And with that, people do not migrate from Braj and they are happily living with their Kana. So that is the whole program. There is one more conceptualized program, which all of you, I'm just announcing it and maybe some of you can get connected with us. It's called the Bees program, the honey bees or the bees, Madhu. So it is Braj Environmental Enhancement Society, that kind of society of people coming together so that various projects like Pili Pokhar is being done right now, they can be taken up later and in a social media way. So, having said this, we will be showing you a small film on volunteering for Barsana Eye Hospital. And after the film is done, then Vishnu Prabhu will explain more about how you can contribute. We are not asking for funds, do not get worried. We are just asking for getting connected. And this is our team. Come here. So His Grace Vishnu Prabhu, Sachipran Prabhu, His Grace Gaurang Sundar Prabhu, His Grace Shyam Mohan Prabhu, His Grace Sri Gaurang Prabhu and Abhishek Agarwal Prabhu. So just see them and then later on you can get connected. So I want now the film to be shown. Somebody can show the film.
I hitchhiked from London through Europe and through the Middle East, and finally, after 6 months, I reached India, which was my goal. When I finally arrived at the border, I was covered with dust. I was very, very sickly, but I felt such great anticipation. I finally arrived. Then the immigration agent asked how much money I had. I had 26 cents. She rejected me. She said, we have enough beggars in India. We do not want another one. Then the guard changed, and I pleaded with him and cried. I promised him, please give me a chance. I promise you, someday I will try to do something good for your people.
Of all the senses, sight must be the most delightful. These words by Helen Keller are nothing but the truth for millions of people out there whose lives are in darkness. India is now home to the world's largest number of blind people. Of the 37 million people across the globe who are blind, over 15 million are from India. What's worse, 75% of these are cases of avoidable blindness. For these people, life is nothing but a life of dependence, a life devoid of dignity. A gentle helping hand can lead them from darkness to light.
I promise you, someday I will try to do something good for your people. So our hospital, Bhaktivedanta Hospital, which is named by the inspiration of our Guru A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in his compassionate spirit. We do these eye camps in several places. And one particular eye camp is in Uttar Pradesh, a village of Barsana. And we treated last year about 4,000 people who have. The interesting thing about this is when they take the bandage off their eye after their surgery and they see. I've seen it with my own eyes, these old ladies hitting the heads of the doctors from the cities saying, "May God bless you, my God bless you for what you've done." I see these doctors crying, and they come back every year, and they tell me they won't miss it for anything, because there's no greater joy in their life than the joy of giving without selfish expectations, and the joy of being blessed by somebody that they've helped. And this really is the higher experience of humanity. Real evolution is from our need to take to the joy of giving.
कुलवाड़ा कौन से गांव से पूछ रहे महाराज जी? हाँ, कुलवाड़ा नियर कामा, कामे वन। चल कैसे आए वहाँ से आप? कैसे आए वहाँ से? कैसे आए? चल के आए, गाड़ी से आए? वन आए पहले। ठीक बनी आपकी आँख? रोटी वोटी खूब खाई? वो कमी नहीं है किस चीज की? कोई बात नहीं। करके बाहर बता
परसों तो मैं राधा रानी से पूछ गई ना कि अपनी आँख भैया
जाए बन गई ना फिर अभी राधा रानी के पास से।
6 साल भी नहीं दिखे वो साहब, और अब वो दिख रहा है। अब बड़ी खुशी है, और गांव में जाके अपने में यूँ ही कहूँगा कि भाई 6 साल से नहीं दिख रहा, वो दिखने लगे खूब।
भैया तेरे बच्चा बने रही है कि रात तक हाथ है देंगे भैया, और काकर बेटी तो ने बड़ी खुशामद करी, बड़ी बूढ़ी इनकी प्यार भला करी भैया।
हमारे बच्चे भी हमारी घर पे कभी सेवा नहीं कर सकते जो हमें सेवा यहाँ प्राप्त हुई है, और हमारी आँख भी बड़ी सुंदर देखने लगती हैं, दिखने लग गया है। और मेरा नाम कांता प्रसाद है, राधा कुंड दास ब्राह्मण हूँ।
कैंप चला था, जब से इन्होंने सैकड़ों गरीबों का कल्याण किया, हर व्यक्ति इनसे संतुष्ट है। अब ये जो हम लोगों ने प्रार्थना पर अस्पताल खोल रहे हैं, इससे अवश्य जनता को लाभ होगा और यहाँ का कल्याण होगा।
Situated in the middle of Chiksoli village in Barsana township in Mathura district of UP, this unique hospital complex will bring the highest possible eye care service at the doorstep of the village. Let's come together to lend a hand. Let's come together to restore visions. Let's come together to spread joy. Let's come together.
Hare Krishna. So over to Vishwarup Prabhu to explain a little bit more about this. And I request the team, they can go. Thank you. Abhishek can wait, yeah.
Hare Krishna. Jai Sri Radhe. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Madhvanand Prabhu explained. Just wait here. Ask him to wait. The journey began with His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj staying for 6 months in Man Mandir with a great holy saint over there, and 6 months stay actually gave him deep realizations about what he was searching for. I remember the Brajvasis who are there now, they were in their early 20s and Maharaj was about 20 also. So they said when he came here, his eyes would tell that he is searching something. And now when he is coming, we see in his eyes that he has found that what he was searching. And with that realization, he left Barsana after 6 months and then went to Vrindavan and met Prabhupada there and then went to USA and got initiation. So this whole journey began with our yatra, and then in one yatra, the Brajvasis were asking us, what do you do in Mumbai? So we were explaining, we were holding eye camps and multi-diagnostic camps in Adivasi villages, and we operate 25 patients in one camp in Palghar area in Western Maharashtra state of India. So they said, we need a lot of service over here. Why don't you do it here also? So we immediately looked at Maharaj and immediately nodded, yes, we should do it. And then we began the first eye camp with 185 operations, which was huge number for us that time, from 25 to 185 in 1992. And then the number went on growing. The first number of volunteers was 68, then there were 100, and now, and in 2023, we have about 400 volunteers going there, staying there, and serving. And it's like a mini hospital developed, a hospital developed for a short period of time with residential staff members and volunteers and doctors and operating people once in a year in the month of February. And now we operate about 1100 operations in a span of 2 to 3 weeks in Barsana in February. In 2007, after doing these annual camps, we came to conclusion that the numbers are not complete because people are still requiring more service. So we started a monthly camp along with the annual camp. And each month in 1 week, we operate 100 patients. So that would go out for 10 months. And that also was not sufficient. So in 2011, on Dussehra Day, we started our daily services, discontinuing our monthly camp and continuing our annual camps. So now, at this stage of time, we have a small hospital in a rental place, very small hospital, with one operation theatre, one OPD, and our Dr. Gaurang Sundar Prabhu and his team is full-time working there. And we operate about 3,000 cataract surgeries per year, including the annual camp. Hare Krishna. So now that area, that particular place is buzzing with people and there is no place to sit down. People have to stand out in hot sun in summers and in freezing colds in winter on the road waiting to get the number inside. There's no space. It's only 850 square feet that we have. So that prompted us to look for land, and from 2005 onwards we were searching. In 2012 we got 5 acres of land in the middle of Chiksoli village, which is the village of Chitra Sakhi, in the middle of all the 8 Sakhis villages. So that was an important milestone, and it took us 10 years to start construction because all the operations are free of charge. So that was a big load to collect funds and do the needful. So 10 years we had to wait, keep the land as it is. But in 2000, just after the COVID time, on the 13th of December 2021, we did the groundbreaking ceremony and we started construction. So construction is going on. The new hospital that we are planning is a basement, ground floor and first floor. And finally the plan will have 4 outpatient departments to do examination in a very professional way with computerized equipment. And we'll be having 4 fully equipped state-of-the-art operation theaters. But in the first stage, we will be having 2 outpatient departments and 2 fully equipped operation theaters. And then there will be 100-bedded arrangement for 50 pre-operative, 50 post-operative, and we'll be operating, now we are operating 3,000. So we hope to operate with the same staff, with a doubled infrastructure. We will be operating 6,000 patients per year from the end of the first year after beginning of the hospital. In the end of the 5 years, we will be able to operate 17,500 cataract operations, cataract patients per year, which means the Brijbasis who are unaffording, who are poor, who need a lot of help, who have no medical facilities, they will come there and get operated free of charge for their cataract. Cataract is a very disabling disorder. In old age, one has to depend upon their grandchildren to go to washrooms, to eat food, to dress themselves, to take bath. It's a very embarrassing, socially, incapacitating situation. But with the operation, the very next day, one can eat oneself, go to the washroom oneself, walk, eat, whatever one wants. Go to Sriji Mandir, take darshan, read their part every single day. So, it is a project of expressing our gratitude. From 1992, it has been a project of expressing our gratitude on behalf of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Because when he left Barsana, he had told me personally that he wants to do something big for Barsana itself also, along with all over India. So the Barsana day-to-day services, annual surgical camps, dental camps, and now the hospital which is going to come up, augmenting our services, is all the journey of expressing our gratitude for what Barsana has given our Guru Maharaj and what we have received for all these years, the blessings that we have received from thousands and thousands of Brijbasis, that we want to bring upon to all the devotees from all over the world, because in Barsana Eye Camp in February, so many devotees have come from abroad, USA, UK, and many other countries, Gulf countries, to participate as a part of their annual sadhana. Annual sadhana means like this is also annual sadhana, once in a year to come to holy place with His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj and relish chanting and hearing the holy name and the katha of the Lord. Similarly, annually, many devotees come regularly to Barsana to do their fixed services. So this attempt here, that opportunity that has been offered by all of you to us, is to simply connect you to the blessings of Radharani. That is our whole purpose, so that it is not just by giving some donation. We want people to get connected to the land of Barsana and to the mercy of Radharani forever, right from the time of their inception of receiving the mercy. And there is, you have got that sample? Yeah, he will explain to you also. We have got a gift for you. Looks very small, but very powerful and very desirable by the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna himself, in which Sri Krishna rolls regularly when he reaches Barsana. That is the, just take the phone. Krishna reaches Barsana and rolls in the dust of Barsana, knowing that Radharani has been walking over this dust regularly. When he rolls in that dust, he sheds tears in that dust, desiring to seek the blessings of Radharani. So this small container has Braj Raj from Barsana. And it has got the campaign name, Let Them See. And it has got QR code. That QR code will give you full information and will connect you to the project with full information. And you will find yourself how you can, who you will like to get connected to this project. Now this is available, is that right? We have our medical stall from last about 30 odd years. In every yatra we have been offering medical services on behalf of Bhaktivedanta Hospital and Research Institute. It is on the right side when I'm pointing out there. There we are serving right from day one all the pilgrims who have come here who has got medical problems. There itself we have our Bhaktivedanta Hospital and Research Institute booth to explain to you about the services available in Bhaktivedanta Hospital for devotee congregation, which I will be also presenting very soon after I get down the stage and go there. And there itself, Abhishek Prabhu is sitting with his team and he will be having this dust bottle. You can go there and collect from him. We have limited units, but still whatever we have, we would like to distribute, and those who don't get, they can share among themselves. Hare Krishna. Like to speak a few words?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So I can say that I just joined this Barsana camp this year, and I had the opportunity to serve for 5 days. And thereafter, I got into this project and I could not get out of it. So I got so much of mercy and so much of blessings. So I came here to share with you all. So please become our team member. And you see the video is also made by the team members, it's the volunteers. So we are not looking for funding, but we are looking for your cooperation. So we want everybody from your kid in the family to the eldest member in the family, in your family, to become a volunteer. Become the volunteer of Ladli's Sevak. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So externally, this looks like a philanthropic project, but it is not. It is definitely a philanthropy activity by serving the needy Brijbasis to give them vision so that they can see Radharani in the temple and Krishna in Nandagaon. Along with that, it's a very intense preaching project. We have seen over the years the doctors who have joined Bhaktivedanta Hospital and doctors who are in making, they come in the number of 70 to 80, those who are students and those who are already medical doctors. And those who, I think Gaurang Prabhu will agree with me, he is preaching largely in the youth activities. Those who chant 2 rounds, 4 rounds, they come to Barsana I camp, and at the end of the Barsana I camp, when they leave, they are chanting 16 rounds. So Gaurang Prabhu feels that what we do for 1 whole year, once in a week, it is done in about 10 days time in Barsana. So he insists that devotees should be sent and encouraged to go to Barsana and serve there, because the Dham has its effect. Dham Vasi Seva has its effect. The darshans that we have is effect. Everything is prasadam has effect. The water itself is full of rasa. So all collective, comprehensive effect is there on the souls of people who join. And we see huge spiritual transformation in the lives of people who connect in the services. So we have eye services and we have dental services every year, and we run the show for 2 weeks in the annual camp, and throughout the year the team serves, and there are about 35 staff members, including 4 full-time eye surgeon devotee doctors and many devotees serving and many Brijvasis serving. One point was a little bit not elaborated. We have been having this education program, selecting young Brijvasi boys and girls, training them in nursing education in our Bhaktivedanta Hospital at Mira Road, Mumbai, and then employing them in Vrindavan Bhaktivedanta Hospital and in Bhaktivedanta Eye Hospital in Barsana. Now we have another project called Optometry School. We will be starting an optometry school where young boys and girls again will recruit themselves, and we will teach them free of charge 2 years diploma in optometry, and then we will also employ them in the hospital as the trained skilled staff. So it's overall social rehabilitation, and Radhanath Maharaj has also launched a project called Ganga Yamuna Saraswati. Ganga is creating infrastructure for living. Saraswati is education and medical services. And Yamuna is chanting Hare Krishna, eating prasadam, having association, doing kirtan. So this is the future of India as per the vision of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. So this scheme, Prayag project, is also implemented in Barsana and Braj area with help of His Grace Gauranga Prabhu. So it is beginning with philanthropy. Those who like philanthropy, they will be attracted. Those who like Yamuna, they will be attracted in spirituality. Those who want to participate into medical and education field, they also will have opportunity. So all kinds of people with all kinds of aptitudes will be getting inspired and engaged in service of Radharani. And when we get service to Radharani, when she is pleased, we know for sure that Sri Krishna will be pleased and our life will be successful. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Prabhuji is reminding me, I missed out that point. There are so many saints, saintly people, saints, great realized souls who are not coming in public, but they do get cataract. They do get vision impairment and their sadhana gets affected. So hundreds of sadhus from Braj area, we sometimes go to their cottages, examine them, bring them on our own to the operation theater, operate them and send them back to their place. And there are hundreds of them. One of them you saw, His Holiness Ramesh Babaji Maharaj, one of the top saints in the whole of Braj as on date. He has been operated by us, Dr. Jugal Shah and his team, Gaurang Sundar Prabhu's team. Both his eyes are operated and many other things which are minor surgeries are done there. And also we bring some of the sadhus to Mumbai when the things are quite complicated. We have a very big setup in Mumbai at Bhaktivedanta Hospital. So we also at our own expense bring them to Mumbai, let them stay and look after their arrangements and get the medical problems solved, not only in the eye department, but in every other department of medicine. Whatever difficulties are there, we do solve them free of charge at Bhaktivedanta Hospital. So by large, as Bhaktivedanta Hospital has got 3 V's as purpose. One is Vaishnav Seva, Vaishnav Dharma Prachar and Varnashram. That means engaging devotees in their work and aptitude to earn their livelihood as Varnashram. Vaishnav Seva, when devotees come, we want to serve them to restore their health. And at the same time, by creating a wonderful Krishna conscious model, we will do Vaishnav Dharma Prachar. That is, induce people to chant Hare Krishna, live a very saintly life and become fulfilled in their own life. Is that all right? Yeah, thank you very much. So now I will be presenting few minutes because the slideshow is there, PPT is there and I have to go there. So the next few minutes presentation I will do from there.
Hare Krishna. Is Sandeep Kemal is there? You are there already? Okay. I would request Sudhir Chaitanya Prabhu to come here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, after the presentation, now it's practical side to express our gratitude to all of you, all the Vaishnavas. As Vishwar Prabhu explained, one of the major, you can say the main objective of the hospital is Vaishnav Seva. So, Vaishnav Seva as a hospital is a need. Of course, many youngsters are sitting, you may not find that need. How many of you are below 30? So quite a large number below 30. Those who are above 40? Yeah, still quite a large number. But those who are below 30, you will have your parents, uncles, who requires. So we have some practical suggestions and a scheme to help, because when the emergencies come, we really don't know what to do. There is always a confusion and then we get called up what to do. And most of the times we say, just come here and we'll help you out. And many Vaishnavas have taken their treatment at Bhaktivedanta Hospital. We have been very fortunate to treat many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, grand disciples, and devotees and their parents and many others. So our Sudhir Chaitanya Prabhu, Swapnil Gaonkar, he has been heading this initiative of connecting hospital services to the devotee community. I just want you to see him so that you know whom to connect. This is Sudhir Chaitanya Prabhu. So, a small PowerPoint presentation is there, which Vishwar Prabhu will manage. Sandeep Kaimal and Vishwar Prabhu are sitting there. Are you ready, Prabhuji? Vishwar Prabhu, you are ready? Mike.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am ready.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
The last slide. Okay, Shall we start? Hare Krishna. So, are you able to see the slide? Am I? Yes, okay. So, all of you know Bhaktivedanta Hospital. We are here in Puri Yatra to take care of your health. These are some pictures of this Yatra. Amazing situations come up in the Yatra. Some of them have got electric shocks, some of them have got fractures, many of them got fever, loose motions, diarrhea. And I can't explain to you what all things happen during the Yatra. When everybody is enjoying the Yatra, darshans and katha, many devotees really become precarious in their physical situation, in their medical situation. So every year we put up this stall. This is Bhaktivedanta Hospital and Research Institute. We inaugurated the hospital in 1998 and we have just last year completed 25 years. This year we are completing 26th year. And at the end of 25 years, we have come up with another building of 8 stories with many highly advanced services for the service of common people and devotees. This is our Bhaktivedanta Hospital. Maybe there is an arrow. Can you see the arrow moving? This is our original building, which is little smaller in size. And behind you will see the big tower with the dome on that. That is a new building. The old building has got 80,000 square feet, ground floor plus 6 floors. And the new building has got 2 basement floors, ground floor and 8 floors on top of that. This is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is our beloved founder Acharya of ISKCON. Essentially, it has got a department of spiritual care, which along with high quality medical care, affordable rates, is providing a spiritual intense atmosphere for the help of spiritual healing also. So as I mentioned earlier, the hospital is meant and built for 3 purposes. One is Varnashram, to help devotees to maintain themselves. Second is to preach the principles of Krishna consciousness through a very unique, innovative way, creative way, through medical profession, and of course to help devotees to restore their bodies in a very healthy way to become nice devotees. What we are presenting here is very much concerned with you because many of the devotees do not know, number one, that something like this exists. If they know that it exists, they feel that there may be a small nursing home somewhere in Mumbai. But we are 300 bedded multi-speciality tertiary care hospital at the outskirts of Mumbai, which we have completed 25 years of professional service to humanity at large. So we are quite professional. It has been a project which is running for 25 years in a professional way, managed by devotee doctors. So this devotee healthcare services were launched in long back, and in ISKCON Leadership Sangha, which is a program going on before the GBC meetings in Mayapur, we have been presenting this project, and because of this awareness created, 600 plus devotees in the span of 6 months have come over to Bhaktivedanta Hospital and availed highly professional services in a very nicely spiritual ambient atmosphere. So these are some pictures of presentation of devotee care project, the same presentation. The purpose is to create awareness amongst the devotees, temple residents and the congregation devotees all over the world on taking care of their health through knowledge sharing seminars. That is, one is education. Second purpose is to provide quality services and give good experience to the patient and relatives during their stay in the hospital. The patient means the devotees who come to take care of their bodies. And third purpose is to provide necessary support through teleconsultation if needed. If devotees are abroad and far from India, from maybe other city of India, unable to come or mobilize the patient, we have a facility of telecommunication. Thanks to COVID has inspired video consultations very, very largely, and that has been quite strongly available in the hospital. So if you are taking some treatment somewhere else in India and you want to cross-check with devotee doctors whom you have faith in, You can have video consultation, share your papers and on WhatsApp and have a video consultation to discuss whether the line of treatment is okay or you need to change, or you can come over. We make all the facilities for devotees to come down. Hare Krishna. We have also online special health talks because Bhaktivedanta Hospital is a multi-speciality hospital, also holistic hospital, which means we have allopathy, variety of branches, we have Ayurveda, we have homeopathy, we have naturopathy, we have all kinds of pathies which are working together in a department of integrated medicine headed by His Grace Dwarkadish Prabhu, Dr. Dhaval Dalal. So this is the also concept inspired by Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, where all the pathies usually fight with each other outside, but we have devotees working together in different pathies. They have a forum where they have come together and they give joint consultation. Like my wife is getting treated with joint consultation of physician, dietitian, Ayurvedic consultant and homeopathy consultation together. And 6 months program is going on, giving beautiful results to many, many devotees. So special health talks online, interactive sessions for devotees on various health. You see Nirmal Chandra Prabhu, Dr. Nirmal Chandra Prabhu on the scene here. He is our head of the Department of Ayurveda, MS postgraduate Ayurveda consultant, having a very wonderful department. We have a dedicated 24-hour helpline contact number for the ISKCON community, which will be a top priority for the hospital. The devotees can connect on the number to book an appointment on the priority basis. What does that mean? Hospital is buzzing with about 1,500 patients coming every day. The footfall is 1,500, which is very large. In that case, to get the number of chosen doctors for consultation is difficult. To stand in the queue to make paper is difficult. So Department of Spiritual Care gives a treatment of priority to all the devotees. We help them to get their papers made easily, take them conveniently in their own timing to the doctors. I'm not saying breaking the line, but giving them priority. And that's how make it easy. In the meantime, when they are waiting for some things, they can rest in Department of Spiritual Care and go for the next text. So whole day our department staff members escort the devotees to facilitate their medical services, which is usually very difficult to coordinate. Second is to facilitate emergency services in the hospital. Sometimes you get a heart attack, you get a fracture, you get so many medical emergencies. At that time also we have a team to welcome you, to escort you and to facilitate you in the emergency situation, which is a very precarious situation, tense situation. And there are many other queries. So many queries are there when you get sick. So there are dedicated devotees on this helpline number 739-1040-162. You can note down, the slide is there for some time. Plus 91 for people who are abroad, 739-1040-162. Hundreds of queries can be answered by the team of dedicated devotees on call, 24 hours a day. We also have chatbot Ask Bhakti services. The dedicated chatbot service on our website. You can see very simple website. The key name is Bhaktivedanta Hospital, www.bhaktivedantahospital.com. We are also available on Facebook, Instagram and Google. 8400146262 is the phone number on WhatsApp to get information, appointments and avail all the medical services and privileges offered by the spiritually ambient Bhaktivedanta Hospital and Research Institute. Additional benefits, we have quality medical services in the vibrant devotional atmosphere. We have an opportunity for second opinion done already, video consultation I already told you, devotee care facilitators available, availability of Krishna Prasad as per the diet for the patient and their relatives. Offering special prayers, yagyas and pujas for the patient on request. Journey so far we have treated 500 plus devotees. 1500 plus devotees have been benefited through health talks. Team of 15 devotees are directly working for the cause of, apart from the other staff. We have a dedicated WhatsApp group for internal coordination. A dedicated number already available, I already explained to you. There's a desk assistant manager herself available 24/7. This is medical helpline. Kindly contact us. The same numbers are repeated here. ISKCON devotees healthcare services are meant for you. There's a QR code which when you scan that, you will get all the information by which you can get connected. So the only purpose all throughout our presentation and talks is to get you know the facilities available at Bhaktivedanta Hospital and help you and serve you to maintain good health so that you can chant Hare Krishna nicely. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. A big thank you to the Bhaktivedanta Hospital team. Now I would like to invite His Holiness Chandramouli Swami Maharaj for our session on Gaur Leela. After that we will have Kirtan and Damodar prayers.
Hare Krishna. So I was drafted, enlisted, not voluntarily, but here I am. They asked me to speak something tonight on Gaur Leela. And by the mercy of senior devotees and the assembly devotees, please give me your blessings, best wishes, so I can speak something that has some value. Om Agyan Timidandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksu Unmilita Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Pada Rama 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 Harim Najanu Lambita Bujo Kanakama Takso Sankirtanai Papitaro Kamalaya Dakso Vishwambaro Dvijabaro Yuga Dharma Follow Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karuna Avataro. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahyonya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is such a magnanimous and so multi-complex personality that to understand him is impossible. But we try. And in his mood of devotion, which is the mood of his internal energy, Srimati Radharani, he performs his pastimes for his own transcendental pleasure and to teach the world what is the principle or the essence of bhakti, loving service to Krishna in the mood of separation from Krishna. Mahaprabhu exhibited that mood throughout his Leela, but mostly in the latter part of his appearance here in what is known as Ancha Leela, the final pastimes. There's one interesting and very deep philosophical and devotional mood that Mahaprabhu took during those final days. He was staying in a place here in Jagannath Puri called the Gambhira. You can go, the temple is here. And Mahaprabhu was in one room. And from time to time, he would exhibit his separation from Krishna by exhibiting various types of activities that would bewilder devotees and make them think, what is happening to Mahaprabhu? One time, when he was in the Gambhira, he left and he was going to his bath in Samudra, or the ocean, and on his way, he saw from a distance this sand dune, and immediately he started to think, Govardhan Hill. Seeing this sand dune, he started to run. And this is described, he was running and running and running so fast. The devotees became alert to Mahaprabhu's running, and they started to become alarmed. And they all, headed by Sarup Damodar Goswami, they all started to run after the Lord. It's described Sarup Damodar Goswami, Jagadananda Pandit, Parmananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, and Bhagavanacharya. As it's described, Bhagavanacharya was also trying to run, but he couldn't. But he wanted to take part in chasing after Mahaprabhu. So they were running. And then the Lord at one point fainted and he lost consciousness. And as it's described, he went into a deep state of meditation. And as it's described, he was seeing, he entered into the moon of Vrindavan. And he was seeing Krishna climbing Govardhan Hill along with his cows and the sakas. Krishna was playing his flute, and Mahaprabhu was witnessing this pastime. And he was in his mood, his internal mood, as Srimati Radharani. But then, as the pastime started to develop, Srimati Radharani appears in the pastime, and along with the gopis, they come up to Mahaprabhu, who is in his gopi form, and says, could you pick some flowers? We want to make some nice garlands for Lord Krishna. So they led him to a cave, an area where there were some nice flowers, and he was beginning his service. But then the devotees on the external realm of existence, they caught up with Mahaprabhu. And when they saw him in this state of ecstasy, they just became so unhappy. So they started to bring water from the ocean. Cold water was pouring it on his body. And the devotees were loudly chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they were chanting over and over again, and chanting as loud as they could, because this is what they would do every time Mahaprabhu would go into his internal mood. They knew there would be no other way they could bring him back. So finally, at one point, Mahaprabhu comes back. He wakes up, he stands up, and he's looking around, and he's looking in different directions like he's trying to see something. But there's nothing that he can see. And then he sees all the devotees. And he said, "Where am I?" They said, "You were with us on the beach. Why have you brought me here? I was with Krishna. And I was seeing Krishna performing his pastimes. And I was about to offer a nice garland to Krishna. And as soon as I was ready to do my service, you brought me here." And he was unhappy. He was so unhappy. He started to cry. Crying in separation from Krishna. And the devotees, when they saw Lord Chaitanya so sad and crying, they also started to cry. And everyone was crying. Prabhupada said this movement is about crying. We should learn that art. He said, learning the art to cry for Krishna. A lot of times we have reasons to cry, but it's not always for Krishna. But that mood, Prabhupada gave one name to one of his disciples, female disciples. He named her Krishna Premi. Beautiful name. And he explained, Krishna Premi means one who cries for Krishna. So Prabhupada said, if you want to actually achieve the lotus feet of the Lord in devotion, you have to learn that art of crying for Krishna. Here we are in Jagannath Puri. Puri is always a place for Jagannath pastimes. And of course, the most prominent and the most celebrated of all his pastimes was the Rath Yatra festival. In the year 2001, myself, Radhanath Swami, and many about 1,400 of the devotees from Radha Gopinath congregation, we came to the Rath Yatra that year. This was my first experience. And we had arrived early, and we were still watching as they were assembling the carts, see how they were putting the carts together, and how each particular member of a particular gotra would come and put a particular color in a certain pattern, and then another person from another gotra would do another color. And this went on 3, 4, 5 colors. All different families would do different colors. So we were all getting quite enthusiastic, inspired to be part of this Rath Yatra. So when the time came, I remember we left our hotel, and the Jagannath carts were lined up on the road. And the police, they make a cordon around the carts. And only certain persons who apply, and they also have to have some credentials, some importance, can get inside of that cordon. And then everyone else remains outside, all around, on the roofs, everywhere. And when you look, all you see is people. Practically, even you miss half the sky because they're all the way up on the roofs everywhere. Millions of people. So we were there, and somehow or other, we got inside the cordon, and I was right next to Maharaj. And then we watched the ceremony as they were bringing Baladev, Subhadra, Jagannath, Sudarshan Chakra out of the temple. and onto the carts.
வளையத்துக்குள்ள பூந்துட்டோம்.
And it's a grand celebration. There are about 100 people playing gongs. Others are playing drums. Others are playing not kartals but wampers. And everyone, and then there's persons who are entertaining the Lord as He comes out. And there's ladies mostly, and of course a few men. They were fire twirlers. They would light this stick with cloth on the end, and they would light it and spin it and throw it up in the air and catch it behind their back. There was one girl, she was, from the time she was 14 years old, she was now in her 20s, she was practicing this particular art of entertaining Jagannath through this fire twirling. And she could roll on the ground and at the same time twirl the fire over her head as she was rolling on the ground. It was just so artistic and so amazing to watch. So this went on for many hours, and gradually, at one point, the deities come out. As Maharaj was describing, there's a beautiful headband that they put on both Baladev and Jagannath, and they bring Baladev out first, and he's in a mood of anticipation of going back to Vrindavan. So Baladev gets on his cart, Subhadra gets on, and Sudarshan Chakra comes, and last is Lord Jagannath. So the carts are high. It's about, you might say about 2 meters, but about a meter and a half above the ground where the base of the cart is, and then there's this long plank with logs they're actually trees that were cut and made into like steps that go all the way up. So now Jagannath comes out, and there's 25 of these daitas, very strongly built personalities who have the service of bringing Jagannath onto the cart. So they're carrying him, and he's going back and forth like this. And as Maharaj explained, how do you do that? We don't do it. He does it. We try to hold him still. So they got to the cart. Now we're all watching. I'm on the back of some devotee, and Radhanath Maharaj is next to me. He's on the back of another devotee because we couldn't see from the ground level. So we were watching, and then Jagannath gets to the base and then they start walking him up the plank, and he gets up a little bit, and then he starts going back. And so they're struggling and straining and pulling, and they're going up. And now all of this is being announced in Orion, and it's also being broadcast in many languages around the world. So the broadcaster, he's there, and he's getting involved with this whole thing of bringing Jagannath onto the cart. And Jagannath is going in. And this is later, because we didn't understand what they said. The announcer said, Jagannath, Jagannath, get on the cart. Your devotees are waiting. Get on, get on. But Jagannath, he's got his own program. So Jagannath is going up. And then at one point, he lays down flat. And they're holding him. Now he's looking straight up. And they can't move him. And they're trying to get up the cart. And then the announcer says, Jagannath, no time to go to sleep. Get on the cart. And Jagannath went, he stood straight up and went, right on. Was like, oh, okay, he's in control. So finally Jagannath gets on the cart, and then there's big ceremonies, and the king of Puri comes, and they sweep in front of the carts, and there's so many artis and ceremonies. And now it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And now the Rath Yatra starts. So the devotees were there. We were chanting and dancing in front of the cart. We were all, the devotees from Chaupati were all in front of Jagannath's cart. And the announcer, later on we learned, he was saying, this reminds us of when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed the Rath Yatra in front of Jagannath. All of these devotees who have come from Radha Gopinath, they were actually praising our devotees. So the devotees were chanting and dancing. And then as the carts were going, and the ropes are like this, and we're pulling, the people are pulling the ropes. And Baladev is first, followed by Subhadra and Jagannath, because the understanding is Baladev and Subhadra are leading the Supreme Personality of Godhead back to his home in Vrindavan. And so, but Baladev, he decides to make things a little interesting. Yeah, it was like that. It was Haribo. So he starts going to the side. He's not following the path down the middle anymore. He's going to the side. So the police, there's two kinds of police. There's the special police and the regular police. And they conduct the pulling. So they're kind of like yelling at the devotees, pull this way, pull this way. Everyone's trying to pull Baladev back into the middle. Not going anywhere. He's just going off to the side. He keeps going off to the side. He goes up against an electrical pole and stops. Now there's at least 100 devotees on the cart. So nobody's going to get off here. So they can't push the cart back. And nobody's going to get off the cart. Baladev is stuck in front of this electrical pole. So what to do? So someone had the idea, well, we have to call them municipal people. So they did, and they came out with their tools, and they climbed the pole, took the wires off the pole, and took the pole out of the ground. And then Baladev was free. Now, if you try that in Western countries, you know where you'll wind up. So anyway, so then Baladev is back in shape. He's leading again. So the devotees are chanting and dancing. I remember it was very rainy that year. So in that sense, it was good because it was cool. Usually the temperature is like 45 to almost 50 degrees sometime during that time. And Baladev, he's leading, and again, he decides, they didn't like it when I did it the first time, I'm going to do it again. So he goes off to the side again. This time he's almost at the Gundicha temple, and he goes to the side, and he goes right up against this man's shop. And people come, they assemble their little shop with corrugated tin and some cardboard and some wood, and they sell different items. So, right up against the shop. So, obviously, take the shop down. So that's what they did. They took the shop down, and the man who owned the shop, he was so happy. Yeah, it was later on we were told that he was expressing his gratitude. Lord Balaram has shown me special mercy. So then, of course, Balaram went. And that particular year, because there is the rule that the carts don't move after sunset. And so this was a very slow Rath Yatra. Jagannath was wanting to watch the kirtans because the devotees from Chaupati, of course we had other devotees there coming from other places. We were just doing kirtan continuously for hours. And Jagannath just kept stopping. And so I think it was around 7:15 in the evening or maybe a little bit earlier. and the sun went down. And so the cart
சூரிய
stopped.
அஸ்தமனம் தேர் நகராது.
And when the cart
எங்க
stopped, that
ஜெகநாதர் என்ன
means
பண்றாருன்னா
you continue the Rath the
நகராம
next
அந்த
day.
இடத்திலே பக்தனுடைய
So throughout the
விஜயத்தை
night,
கேட்கணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டார்.
they have pujas
ஜெகநாதர்
and
அப்பா
various
நினைவு
types of artis and ceremonies, and people come, they stay up all night. They offer different items, sacred items to Jagannath, and it goes on
அப்ப
through the
அங்கேயே
whole
தேர்
night.
நின்றுடுது.
And then when sunset begins, or sunrise begins the next
தேர்
morning,
நின்றுச்சுன்னா
the
ராத்திரி முழுக்க
carts
அங்கேயே
again
தேர்
move.
இருக்கு. திருப்பி அடுத்த நாள்
And this
காத்தால தேர்
time,
பூஜைலாம்
about
முடிச்சதுக்கு
half
அப்புறம் தேர் நகரும்.
the pilgrims had already left.
புனஸ்காரங்கள்லாம்
So
பண்ணி
we got a
எல்லாம்
chance
பண்ணி
to
ஜனங்கள்
pull
வர
the ropes.
பலவித மங்கள பொருட்கள்லாம் ஜெகநாத்துக்கு நிவேதியம் பண்ணிட்டு
The devotees from Radha Gopinath. And I remember I was grabbing
அடுத்த
the
நாள்
rope,
காத்தால இதெல்லாம்
and the whole ground was so muddy. And we were just pulling and falling and pulling and falling, more falling than pulling. We were just,
பாதிக்கு மேற்பட்ட
and my dhoti,
யாத்திரிகள்லாம்
I think they were wondering what sampradaya I was in.
பக்தர்கள் மட்டும்தான் நிறைய ஜாஸ்தி
I lost all of its, color.
தேர் வடம்
Became the
பிடிக்கிறது
color
ரொம்ப
of the mud.
வசதியா இருக்குது.
So finally, that night, we arrived in front of Gundicha temple, and
தேர்
the
நான் கூட
carts
என்னால வடம்
stopped there, and then there was many ceremonies.
இழுக்கிறேன்
And about 5 o'clock that evening, they started a ceremony of bringing the deities off the carts and into the temple. But before then, again, so many ceremonies, worship, very important people from the local area. They would come, offer items to Jagannath, or they would do artis, and finally, they began the ceremony, and Balaram's the first one to get off the cart. So they put the headdress on Balaram. It's a big headdress, it's like huge, it goes way beyond his head. And the deities are big. They're at least a meter high, and no, more than that. They're actually maybe a meter and a half high. In terms of feet, they're about 6.5 feet, 7 feet tall, and about a meter wide. So they're heavy and big. So they're carrying Balaram off. And Balaram is shaking like this, and they're trying to hold him still. Finally, and we're watching, we got some place on top of somebody's roof, and we could actually see from that angle the whole departure of the Lord from his cart and into the Gundicha temple. And finally Balaram goes in, and then Subhadra is next. But Subhadra, they just pick her up and just carry her in. They say the ladies are not supposed to exhibit ecstasy in public. So it's more of a private ecstasy. Yeah, it's part of Shastra. And then it's Jagannath's turn, and again, struggling, straining, but Jagannath, he's really eager to get in, but he's shaking like back and forth, and they're holding him. And we're watching. It's amazing. From 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock was 4 hours. It took them to take the deities off the cart and into the temple. So it's a beautiful and most unique experience to witness this Jagannath Rath Yatra. And devotees regularly from Chowpatty and from other places are still making plans to attend these Rath Yatras. So if you find the opportunity, please, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And again, in 2006, we also did that. And 2006, the Lord was more merciful or less merciful. Depends from what angle of vision you look at it. The weather was so hot that year. It was about 50 degrees. Indradumna Maharaj had come, and Bhakti Charu Swami had come, Deva Amrit Swami had come, and many other, Sri Prahlad. we were all dancing in kirtan and going and leading Jagannath down to the Godicha temple. And then, of course, the ceremony. And again, I don't know, maybe some of you have seen last year when the carts were in front of the Gundicha temple. There was Jagannath performed a miracle, you might say, that it was pouring rain everywhere except on Jagannath's cart. It was completely dry. The devotees were on the cart. They were attending to Jagannath, and if you just move like 1 or 2 meters that way, torrential rain, not just rain, but pouring rain. It's on. You can see it on the video. It was raining all around except on Jagannath's cart. So they say that everything that happens in Jagannath Puri is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Jagannath. So, how many of you, when you were young, or maybe even now, played this game called hide and seek? Wow, almost everybody. How many of you would like to play it again? Yeah, me too. So there's one particular Leela where Radharani is there, Krishna is there, and some of the gopis are there, and the game is hide and seek. And so now Radharani has to hide her eyes, and all the gopis and Krishna have to find hiding places. So that's the plan. And the gopis find their strategic hiding places in Krishna, and Radharani comes out. Now Radharani has to find everyone, so she's looking this way and this way, and she's going this way. And every time she comes near a gopi, the gopi laughs. And she kisses him, because they have so much love for Srimati Radharani that when she comes, they can't help but express their feelings, and so they laugh or they give some emotional expression, and Radharani caught all the gopis. But then it was one person left to catch, Krishna. So she's thinking, where's this rascal? So she's looking this way, and she's going in his direction. But Krishna is really sneaky, so he changes his location every time she gets close. And she gets close again, and he sneaks away to another place, and she can't find him. She's thinking, how am I going to find him? She gets an idea. Strategy. She starts to sing so sweetly the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So sweetly, with so much love, Krishna freezes. He can't move. He's stunned. And she catches him. I caught you. Krishna said, you cheated. That wasn't fair. She said, oh no, you're just a bad loser. So, Radharani and Krishna's pastime. One time, Krishna had just killed a demon, and all the cowherd berries gathered around Krishna. Krishna, how did you do that? That was a big, powerful demon. Yesterday I beat you in wrestling, and I couldn't kill that demon. Krishna's quiet. He's not saying anything. And all the other boys are chiming in, trying to find out. Yeah, yesterday I took your lunch pail and you cried. And Krishna's quiet. And then they start guessing. One boy says, yeah, It's his mother.
சொன்னதுக்கு அப்புறம் எல்லா கோபுரங்களும் ஒண்ணா
She's the
சேர்ந்து கிருஷ்ணன்
secret.
வந்து எப்படி அந்த நீ
She
உன்னால
gives him
அசுரனை
this
கொல்ல முடிஞ்சது
special mantra for
நேற்றுக்கு தான்
killing
2
demons.
பேரும் நம்ம விளையாடி இந்த மல்யுத்த விளையாட்டுல நான்
And
உன்னை
that's the
தோற்கடிச்சிட்டேன்
power he has. And another boy says, no. It's
ஆனா
not
நான் என்னோட சண்டை போட்டு நீ
But it's his
தோற்கடிச்சிட்ட
mother.
இன்னொரு
She
கோபுரம்
puts
சொல்ற
these
நேற்றுக்கு வந்து
armlets and amulets on his legs and on his arms, and then there are
நீ அழ
secret
ஆரம்பிச்சிட்ட
mantras. And he, just by wearing these things, he has such power, and he kills demons. Now Krishna's listening, they're all guessing this way and that way, trying to find out why. And then Krishna says, you really want to know?
இப்படி எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் தோத்துட்டு
So
இருக்கிற
they
நீ
all gather around Krishna. Krishna said, well,
எப்படி
when
உன்னால
I was
அந்த அசுரால கொல்ல
born,
முடியும்
a very powerful
கடைசியில ஒரு பையன் சொன்ன இவனால
sage,
கொல்ல முடியாது
his name was
ஒருவேளை யசோத
Gargamuni, he came to see my father
சாப்பாடுனால
in a
யசோதையுடைய
very
கை
secret
ஒழுங்கப்பட்டதுனால
meeting.
சக்தி
And he
கிடைக்கிறது
told my father that this
அதனால
son
கொல்ல
of
முடியாது
yours is very, very special. He is
கிருஷ்ணர்
as
எல்லாரும் கோபுரம்
good
சொன்னா உங்களுக்கு உண்மையிலே
as Lord Narayan. In fact, he is
எப்படி என்னால
Narayan. So if you want to know why, I'm God.
என்னால எப்படி அசுரால கொல்ல முடியுதுன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கணுமா அப்படி கேட்கணும் எல்லா கோபுரம் ஆர்வமா கேட்கிறா
He's God. They all start laughing. He thinks he's God.
கிருஷ்ணர் சொல்லாரு கர்கமுனி என்னை வீட்டுக்கு வந்தார் வந்து
And they're
என்னை
laughing.
சொன்னார் நான் வந்து
And
நாராயணன்
Krishna's
மாதிரி நாராயண சக்தி
laughing.
எனக்கு இருக்கு
And
அப்படின்னு
everyone's
கர்கமுனி சொன்னார்
laughing. And finally they said,
அதனால தான் என்னால
let's
அசுரால
go
கொல்ல
play.
முடியல ஆனா கடவுள் அவர் சொன்னார் அப்படின்னு
So
கிருஷ்ணர்
that
சொன்ன உடனே
place
எல்லா
is
கோபுரம்
called
சிரிக்க ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க
Hashyavan.
ஆஹா
It's a
நீ
place in
நீதான் கடவுளா நீயா
Vrindavan
கடவுளா எப்படி
where this pastime took
எல்லா பசங்களும்
place.
சிரிக்க ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க யாருமே
Hashya
கிருஷ்ணர்
means
சொல்றது நம்பல
laughter. And if you go there, and if you're
எல்லாரும் சிரிக்க
fortunate
ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க
enough to
கிருஷ்ணர்
hear
சிரிக்க
this
ஆரம்பிக்கிறார்
Leela, you'll just laugh.
போற நீ
I
சொன்னதெல்லாம்
was
போற
reading it.
விளையாடலாம் அப்படின்னு கோபுரங்கள்லாம்
Shivaram
கிருஷ்ணர்
Maharaj
சொல்லிட்டாங்க
wrote that Leela in his book.
அந்த அதனால அந்த வனத்துக்கு பேரு ஹாஸ்ய வனம்னு பேரு சிரிக்கக்கூடிய வனம்
Marina,
அப்படின்னு பேரு
Mahima? What is that? In describing Krishna's pastimes, he writes about it. And I was reading it.
அந்த ஹாஸ்ய வனத்துக்கு போய்
I
இந்த
was in
லீலையை
Govardhan
கேட்டோம்னா
Echo Village, and
ரொம்ப
I was just
ஆச்சரியமான
reading
லீலை அது
it. And I finished the
சிவராம்
pastime.
மகாராஜ் இந்த
I
புத்தகத்தை
started to
எழுதியிருக்காங்க
laugh, and I couldn't read anymore. I was just like, I'm thinking, what happened to me? I just started to laugh. So I just put the book down. I figured there's no sense of going any farther. So Krishna's pastimes are so sweet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath. And Prabhupada was talking. He was talking about one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Both with the rising and the setting of the sun, another day is lost, and one is closer to death, except for those who use their time to hear the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This verse is very powerful. It's right direct. That Prabhupada was talking, he said the sun, in one sense, is our enemy because every time it rises and sets and rises and sets, is bringing us closer to the end of this body. But he said it doesn't apply to devotees. That's just for those who do not take part in hearing the glories of the Lord. Now, Prabhupada said if you're always hearing or speaking or reading the glories of the Supreme Personality of God in any of his manifestations, incarnations, you live eternally. And Prabhupada was so convincing the way he was describing that. He was saying, your consciousness becomes so full of Krishna that you no longer are subject to the laws of material energy anymore. You become, what we say, immortal. In other words, you become free from the process of death. So this is can't say secret because everyone knows it, but this is the means by which we can attain perfection. To continually hear and chant and also broadcast to all
அவர்களுக்கு இந்த சூரியன் உதிக்கிறதுனால ஆத்மனமா
the glories
இருந்தாலே
of the
மழை
Lord.
கிடையாது
either chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or the glories of the Lord in his different pastimes, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Gaurnitai, Radha Krishna and Vrindavan, or any of the Leelas of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And take part always in chanting the holy name. Prabhupada said 16 rounds. Why 16 rounds? 16,000 rounds. He says when you're actually chanting, you'll feel, why only 16 rounds? Let me continue to chant more and more. So when one develops that taste for chanting, how do we get the taste for chanting? Shushusha Sharadanasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchi Shanriyat Deva Pipa Purnya Tirtana Sevana. By rendering service to great souls, great service is done, and by such service, one gets an affinity, an attraction for hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. By associating with and serving Vaishnavas, that taste for Harikatha and Kirtan awakens more and more within the heart and within the mind. So here's the formula for perfection in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki, Gaur Premanande, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, His Holiness Chandamuli Swami Maharaj. So, in honor of his birthday celebrations, we will have Damodar prayers and Kirtan later by His Grace Yadubar Prabhu.
எதுவர் பிரபு தன்னுடைய அவருடைய பிறந்தநாளை கொண்டாடும் விதமாக அவர் இன்னைக்கு தாமோதரஷ்டம் பாடுவார், கீர்த்தனம் அவர் பண்ணுவார்.
Namaskaram Satchit Anandarupam Vasakundalam Lokule Brajamanam Namaskaram Satchit Anandarupam Vasakundalam netra imame jantam karam bodayu mena satanka netra. Sakanta kanta kanta Stita Bhagavana Bhavam Bhakti Bhagam Sakamba Idit Stali Lambe Ananda Kunde Swado Sandhivanjantam Atyapayantam Hariye Sita Gezu Bhattayidabham Puna Devatastam Chaturvirti Vande Varam Deva Moksham Namoksha Vadimbam Nacham Gandeneham Hare Saratiham Iram Deva Punasa Yobalabalam Sarame Manasya Puvastantamanya Irante Mukambhujam Achantanila Vitam Kundala Snibha Vakashtagopya Yoshcham Vitam Bimbaradayame Manasya Virastam Alam Vakshaladaya Namo Devagana Ananta Vishnu Vasira Pavadutta Kalabhimagna Vipadhyasya Visyadi Tinambatanu Vihadashamamadyam Edakshirishyam Vipadhyasya Visyadi Tinambatanu Mochavayadvat Ayam Mochito Bhakti Majopitacham Tata Prema Bhaktim Sadam Eprayacham Namaste Home Sri Dhamma Namaste Sridhare Purare Sridhare Vadi Yogarasa Vishwasiddhare Namo Varikaya Padiyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Varikaya Padiyaya Namo Varikaya Padiyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Nama Visvaram Satyam Anangarupam Vasatinalam Gokule Vajamanam Yasodaviyukaya Vajamanam Param Vishkamam Cham Tathogasiddhya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Everyone. Once again. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe Jaya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Whoa! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gaurandita, 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 Jaya Gaurandita. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha, Gopinath Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha, Gopinath Radhe Radhe. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur, Hari Bol. Nitya Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Everyone chant. Again, please. Once again, loudly, please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
I'm here in Cairo in front of life-saving medical supplies that UNICEF has pre-positioned